Okay, everyone will rise for the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
Diane is the chief clerk of the legislature, just a very quiet person, so she's probably going to kill me tomorrow. Okay, I would like to welcome everyone to the Budget and Finance Committee meeting of the Putnam County Legislature. The Budget and Finance Committee meeting is not legislative meeting, encompasses all 9 legislators. Very quickly, here. Okay, I met with the county executive, Mary Ellen Odell, earlier this evening, and the good news is everybody's getting a 25% raise. And we have cut backs by 95%.
It's going to make the headlines tomorrow, Richie.
Is there a motion to adjourn? I'm glad everyone's here. We have a beautiful space here in the golf course, and I want everyone to see what we're county tax dollars right. And it's a very, very nice space. I want to, first of all, we have our county government here. We have Glenn Van Ross, who's our legislative council. No clapping until him. Barbara Fitzgerald from Phillipstown, Sam Oliveira from Pleasant Valley, J.D. Estorino from Patterson, Bella from Cromwell, Roger Gross from Brewster, Joseph Castellano from Brewster, Tina Little from Homeback, and Carl from Homeback. This is our legislative staff. We have Diane Schoenfeld, Nancy Bolsey, Beth Green, Michelle Sharkey. That's my own staff. And over here we have, well, just Sloan, the executive, and Bruce Walker. And on this side, we have our commissioners and our department heads. Tim Reese, you're not the department head. Pat Sheedy, director of the Office for Aging, Jennifer Bumgarner, our county attorney, John Tully, who's, John actually does everything. Tonight he's highway chief. Tomorrow he might be county attorney. This evening is the director of emergency services. Dr. Alan Beals is our health commissioner. Jean Marie Noel is our consumer affairs. Mike Bartolotti is our county clerk, and Tony Scanapieco is a representative of the Board of Elections. Over here, I guess, Jerry Schreier is representing the sheriff. Dr. Nesrin is our coroner. Mike Massa, our DSS commissioner. Lisa Johnson is our director of real property taxes. Lisa just got promoted 2 months ago. She's native to the county, good person, and really out here. Alex Gonzalez is director of purchasing. Bill Farland, finance. Paul Eldridge, department of personnel. Paul, where are you on your story? No. This is back. So, no, you're the director of veterans affairs. Anyway, this is your county government right here, and I would welcome you to our meeting today. And I'm going to turn this over in a second to Mary Ellen Odell, and I'll give you a really funny joke. When we started to finance the improvements on the golf course, Mary Ellen called me and she said, "Richie, we have to kill all the golfers. There's holes all over the golf course. You know where this is going." This is Mary Ellen's nation. I said, "No, Richie, the Gophers." So anyway, I'll let you do it. Okay, with that, I would like to have a roll call vote. A roll call, please.
Here.
Present.
Present.
Here. Present. Present.
Present.
Here.
Present. And with this, I will turn the meeting over to the County Executive, Mary Ellen Odell, and her Deputy, Bruce Walker. Now we can clap.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to my colleagues on the legislature, to your staff, to the clerk, Madam Clerk, Diane, thank you, to council on the legislature, thank you. And good evening and welcome to the 2014 budget address. And as the chairman noted, my name is Mary Ellen Odell, and I am honored to be the county executive for one of the most beautiful counties, if not the most beautiful county in New York State. I would like to, before we begin the presentation, just take a note of special thanks to who Richard already introduced, and that's our department heads. This is where the work really began right there, and I'd like to thank each and every one of them for not only the work that they did during this budget process, but for the work that they've done all year, because you don't just get here in a few weeks. It takes months of planning and years of developing a plan, executing that plan to get to this evening. And so I'd like to particularly just note special thanks to my Deputy County Executive, Mr. Walker, and to our Commissioner of Finance, Bill Carlin, as well as Tom Lannon, our IT, who provided us with all of the audio for this evening. And of course, a very special thank you to number 4. Yeah, Paul, that's you, number 4. Yeah, the former County Executive, Mr. Paul Eldridge, who I am honored to serve behind. I'm just going to move this because I'm going to crash right into it, I know. So we'll begin with our first slide this evening, vision. And I know that I share this vision with my colleagues on the legislature, and I know that I share this with many of the stakeholders in the room. I see some from the business community, the Chambers of Commerce, and a special welcome to you, as well as all of you in the outside agency. I think we all share the same vision for this county and sustaining life here. That's to provide a transparent, effective, and honest local government dedicated to meeting the needs of its citizens. And our focus every day, not just during the budget process, but in our day-to-day operations, is always to develop a fiscally responsible budget that provides for the health, safety, and quality of life of our residents, and in this particular circumstance, not exceeding the tax cap limit of 1.66. So many of you in the room who aren't as exactly plugged in as we are here in county government, you've always heard over the last few years since the adoption that the 2% tax cap was 2%. Well, in fact, nope, they lied. It's a 1.66% tax cap this year. And the New York State property tax cap law provides that the tax levy increase is capped at 2% or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. Sounds like they make it up as they go along, right? For 2014, the Federal Bureau of Labor and Statistics has determined that the rate of inflation to be 1.66, and so this is the statewide cap. And it should be noted that we did not get this information until several months ago, well into the budget season. So it just further pressurized the process of keeping under the cap. And although there are various other factors that permit the county to raise the levy higher while legally remaining within the tax cap, this administration strongly supports the tax cap. And this budget meets that commitment, and we will not propose to override the tax cap. So here's a summary of our proposed 2014 budget, which includes $142.9 million. And that is a net increase of $2.3 million over last year's 2013 adopted budget, or a 1.6% increase. And here's why. It includes a $925,000 increase to meet the New York State mandated pension costs, a $922,000 increase due to step and longevity increases, as well as pending contract negotiations. What does that mean? It means we set aside money in hopes that we will reach agreements with our 3 collective bargaining units in 2013 and 2014, and we're prepared. $243,000 increase to meet New York State mandated worker comp costs, and the $150,000 contribution to Park, which is in addition to the $150,000 that we allocated from the 2013 budget. Susan Lamangelo and you park folks here, hello again. Your telethon was successful?
Yes.
Yes, and it was a pleasure to join you there again. Susan, it's been a pleasure to partner with you and to problem solve. As we say, we were not going to kick the can, we're going to problem solve this, and we're going to get Albany to understand that their methodology is what is creating this situation. And just to put things in perspective, I want everyone to understand that when you have a $142.9 million budget, you would say, well, the $150,000 really, shouldn't be that much of a burden to tightening up and getting your budget under the 1.66 cap, 6% cap. But it's 23% of that cap. And we have been very open and very compassionate to the situation, but I just want to further emphasize here that until Albany corrects these particular issues, it's going to be harder and harder for us to meet these cap requirements. And in final, on the summary of the proposed budget, the general fund surplus allocation of $3.7 million is the second straight budget using less surplus than the previous year. So the bottom line to the taxpayer, what's going to get in tomorrow's newspapers, or what are people going to really want to see? That the average homeowner assessed at $286,000 will pay $975 in county property tax in 2014, which is an increase of $16, resulting from the 1.66 tax increase. And here's just a little breakout of our revenues. We project a conservative projection of $52.5 million in sales tax. And then, of course, we have the collection of the property taxes, 2014. We have reimbursements for the federal and the state mandated programs, which are declining, I should note. We have department revenues. Some of those have been enhanced, thank you to the good work of the Law Department in Chapter 31, as well as our Director of Consumer Affairs in item pricing. And we have the general fund surplus of 3.75, and then some other miscellaneous of 1.35. And we just did a little pie chart example of what represents the mandated programs, revenue, return, and the quality of life services. Okay, the 2014 budget expenses, operating expenses, state and federal mandated programs, 103.2. That leaves us with 39.7 for the quality of life services. And we identified just basically the top. Road Patrol, Sheriff's Patrol. We are the safest county in New York State. We're proud of that, and we'd like to keep that going. That costs us $6.3 million. The Office for the Aging. I have a 99-year-old grandmother who still lives on her own. I know how important it is that our seniors stay social. And I know that they're very interested in IT and technology, and I know that they love to be out and about in the community, and we do know that they spend money too. And so we fund $5.1 million for the Office for the Aging. Emergency Services, our commissioner and our deputy commissioner are here this evening with us. They provide all of the back office emergency services, and they work with our volunteer first responder community, which thank God for the volunteer first responder community, or our commissioner would tell you that number of 4.1 would be, who would even guess to say 5 times that amount would probably be a safe jump on that. Parks and Recreation. We know that we love our county for its beauty. We love the fact that we can ride the bike path, that we can hike, we can bike, we can swim in the lakes. And we love the fact that because we can offer all that, we're a huge destination attraction for those in the Hudson Valley region and those even further out. And so we spend $3.4 million in our Parks and Recreation. And then our outside agencies, some of whom I do again see tonight. And what I always describe the outside agencies are those go-to places for those of us that have a blessed life and we don't need social services, we don't need park services, we don't need Medicaid. What we need is to make sure that we have a home for our abandoned animals, our Humane Society, that we have libraries available to our seniors and to our children, and that we have museums to make sure that our historic integrity is being recorded. Those outside agencies, we spend $1.4 million, and that, again, is a total cost of $39.7 million. And then we just did a little pie. Okay, so the mandates. What is a mandate? I know we keep saying this over and over again, but to me, you just can't say it enough. A mandate requires Putnam County to strictly adhere to rules set by the state and federal governments that define the scope, eligibility, frequency of service, and amount of benefits provided to the people within our county. Putnam County has a very limited ability to control the cost of state and federal mandates. And I believe that New York State, counties, and Albany need to partner closer in managing fiscal responsibilities. And I do know that Putnam has recognized the importance of and has delivered under the 2% cap. And we continue to ask Albany to please deliver on their promise of mandate relief. We'll just take a closer look at the mandated programs. There are more than 200 New York State and federal mandated programs. And this is very important to note. They consume the entire amount of Putnam County sales tax dollars, and they consume the entire property tax levy. And what are some of the mandated programs in Putnam County? Well, we'll start with the top one, and that's Medicaid. We'll talk about a new one, secure ammunition and firearms enforcement, the SAFE Act, temporary assistance to needy families, child welfare, food stamps, early intervention, preschool education, child support collections, adult protective services, EPA, MS4. Are any of those anything we don't want to have? No. Are any of those something that we don't want to fund? No. But what we want is accountability, what we want is oversight, and what we want it to do is to be able to control the spending ourselves. And I just want to note that the second one, the SAFE Act, is a new one. That came on us this year, so we didn't have preparation for that, and the enactment of this legislation has forced Putnam County to add one FTE, which is a full-time equivalent employee. Here's a further breakdown of the mandated programs. These are just the top 14 of, again, the 200 programs that are mandated. Again, we'll highlight the Medicaid, and I'll show you in the next slide. The Medicaid is the single largest line in the Putnam County budget. And this is a new updated figure. Approximately 6,200 residents are currently Medicaid recipients. That is a 24% increase of eligible participants. Our 9.8 represents the local share. Factoring in the New York State and the federal funding, it's $97 million of taxpayer money goes to 6,200 residents. I mean, it's just obvious. It's just obvious that something has to be done about accountability and oversight for these programs. Mandated expenses. Before we started the 2014 budget process, the mandated expenses exceeded the tax cap already, which meant before we even opened up our books, we had to figure out how to close that. Thank you very much from Albany. You'll see the 2013 adopted, I'm sorry, Tom, take that back. Thank you. You can see how it has grown from the 2013 adopted to the 2014 tentative budget. Thank you. With the unfunded mandate challenge, how did we budget this? How did we balance this budget? Well, again, this started 2 years ago when we started identifying ways that we could do better by efficiencies and ways that we could do better by generating revenue. Sales tax, a 1.4 million projection increase based upon the current economic conditions and the successful extension of our sales tax rate we received working in partnership with our county legislature and New York State representatives. Our collective efforts have saved the real property taxpayers $13.2 million and kept the average homeowner from paying an extra $325. What that really means is if we didn't get the 1% extension last year, we would be facing the extra 33% increase in property taxes. The Putnam County Golf Course. If we stay tracking what we're doing currently, and by the way, these doors were open for business through the entire renovation. And in case anyone wasn't able to attend our grand reopening, we had noted the fact that this project was done with in-house hands. It wasn't just a bricks and mortar project. This was a project about showing what government can do when it gets out of its own way. And we continue to generate revenue at the same time. So conservatively tracking the business of what we've been able to do this year and projecting it for next year, we're going to book an increase of $525,000 as our investments in and our promotion of this property are anticipated to continue to pay off for our taxpayers, the golfers, and the citizens looking to hold banquets and meetings here. And I can tell you that I've already offered, yes, and I'd like to thank the Putnam County Legislature absolutely for their support and their belief that we could do this. I have recently just offered this facility to be the host for the Domestic Violence Regional Council. And next month, we will be hosting the 7 counties in the area. And I can tell you that we are really, really excited about hosting this, and we're really looking forward to showing off this beautiful showcase. Chapter 31, the sale of county-owned properties acquired by tax foreclosure. With the collaboration of the Putnam County Legislature, we amended Chapter 31 so that we could offer our properties on the multiple listing. By doing so, we were able to engage our local real estate agents, which generates business, which generates revenue, which keeps jobs in this county. And tomorrow, I think, Andrew, is that correct? Tomorrow, we will be closing on the first sale. Where are you? Yep, tomorrow. Friday. Tomorrow's not Friday? So last year we anticipated $424,000 in the administration. I think the legislature was very, very hopeful that we would exceed that, maybe booked a little bit more than that, but to date we have $362,000 of accepted offers in. So we're on track for that. And this is something new to county government. Recovery of expenses otherwise borne by the property taxpayer. Guardrail damage cost recovery. We now bill back those who damage our guardrails. We're booking $50,000, but to date we have received $79,000. We've increased the Medicaid transportation recovery. We're booking $50,000 for that. And I'd like to thank the transportation Chairman Vincent Tamania, who identified the need to correct the reimbursement to reflect the true cost. Prior to Mr. Tamania taking over the transportation system and evaluating it, the transportation reimbursement was $3.25 per ride. We now receive $37.33, which is a little over a 10-time windfall for us. And so tracking it, for an example, in July of 2012, we received $800, and in July of 2013, we received $8,000. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Partnering with our municipalities, the Putnam County Sheriff's Department, the Putnam County District Attorney's Office, the Putnam County Legal Aid Society, and the New York State Office of Court Administration, video conferencing is going online. I'd also like to make a special shout out to Legislator Scuchamara, who was in the ground floor with me 5 years ago as we co-chaired the Commission on Fiscal Vision and Accountability. And so this program will provide Putnam County with the efficiency in prisoner transportation, which will result in a reduction in overtime and fleet costs, and of course will increase public safety. And I just would like to make a special note of thanks to all of the people and the stakeholders who walked this initiative over the last 5 years and stayed on track with it, and acknowledge the towns who have volunteered to do the first rollout. A first thank goes to the Honorable Alan Shankman, and Hannah Kress, I'd like to thank you and your boss, the District Attorney Adam Levy, for getting that last final piece in the puzzle done. The Honorable James Reeds, who has stood through this project and believed in it right from its inception. Our Sheriff Donald B. Smith, who is ready to go. Patrick Brophy from Legal Aid, Supervisor Ken Schmidt and the Carmel Town Board, Supervisor Catherine Doherty and her Town Board, as well as Supervisor Michael Griffin of Patterson and the Patterson Town Board, and Supervisor Tony Hay and the Southeast Town Board. We're looking forward to this furthering of this collaboration and efficiencies. So the operating expense initiatives, again going back to our original State of the County about managing our assets and optimizing our resources, takes us to the point in the budget where we're proud to say that there are no layoffs. And it's important for me to note that because one of the things that I have been pressing over and over and over again is that I really feel that it's very important that we keep everyone working, not only here in Putnam County, but in the Putnam County workplace. And we offered the early retirement incentive program for those who are ready to go on to their encore career or go on to their retirement, enjoy their time with the family. And we projected and have received and captured a savings of $201,000. We've done an additional consolidation in the Department of Social Services and the law department with legal services, and we've realized a $35,000 savings. And in further administration efficiencies, we've renegotiated a cell phone contract. And I'd like to pick up on the efficiencies and the monies that were saved from the pilot program, which was a new program that we introduced this year, this summer, and it's Putnam Invest in Leaders of Tomorrow. And this is where the youth of our county were able to experience day-to-day operations in a department of their choice and perhaps look at the county as an opportunity for a career. We do have an aging workforce in Putnam County, and we do recognize the fact that we do not have a succession plan. We also realize that we saved quite a bit of money by employing these fine young men and women. They did an awful lot of good work for us here, and some of them took small salaries, and some of them took college credits, and some of them just took the opportunity so that they can come back and further in the internship program. We've limited motor vehicle and equipment purchases, and we are establishing a capital projects reserve fund, and we're doing that because of the projected increase of cost of bonding as the economy continues to spit and sputter along. Okay, our outside agencies, for example, Cornell Cooperative Extension, the Putnam County Humane Society, Putnam History Museum, Southeast Museum, Putnam Arts Council, and the Westchester Putnam's Resource Center. Level funding for the year. And, we struggle with that. We really do. We'll do everything we can midstream if something happens, as we did with Park. We're there for you. We're partners with you, and we certainly believe in your mission. But in order to snug up under that 1.6 tax cap, level funding is in the 2014 budget, with the exception of our libraries. And this is something that we were able to do last year as well. We felt a $10,000 or a 2.6% increase in recognition that there are increased requirements being placed on our libraries as unemployment levels remain high, and there is continued uncertainty in the near future. Putnam County Tourism, a $10,000 increase for event transportation to increase tourism. That comes from the identification from the Transportation Task Force Commission, who identified the fact that our bus routes don't get to where the people are, and the people aren't getting to our tourist destinations. And in recent articles that I've read this week, tourism is a terrific baseline for increasing economic development and job growth. The Putnam County EDC is receiving a $25,000 increase to promote Putnam County business and business attraction and job creation. And I can tell you the work that they've done to date has been phenomenal under the leadership, the very short leadership of Megan Taylor, the new EDC president who's here with us tonight. Just for an example, we have the Honeydew Men Company who's staying and staying here with 50 jobs. And we have a new business coming in that we're very excited about. Keep your fingers crossed. The Bull and Barrel Brew Pub right at the former Sportino site. And the private investors there are willing to invest $1 million, and they're adding 35 jobs to the county. A private-public partnership has been established with Mercy College, where we're now offering higher educational opportunities. Last month, we kicked off the master's program for organizational leadership and the hazardous mitigation plan. And in January, we're offering the certificate program for organizational leadership and hazardous mitigation plan as well. Thanks to the partnership with Applied Golf and Homestyle Catering and Putnam County Government, we have this facility, this beautiful destination, which I'm quite sure will exceed all of our expectations. Opportunities looking towards the future. Putnam County is on the map. Putnam County was on the map in January over the Second Amendment, the pistol permits, but now we're on the map for a better reason. We have the Putnam County Transportation Advisory Board. I was recently appointed, actually last week, to the Board of Directors for the New York State Association of Counties. That's the first time the county executive for Putnam County has had that seat. We have a full seat and a full voice on the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council, or NIMTC, you might know it more commonly as. I am the co-chair of the Mid-Hudson South Transportation Coordinating Committee. We are now at the table for the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council, the Hudson Valley Regional Council, and their Regional Planning Consortium, the Tappan Zee Hudson Crossing Project, and the Workforce Investment Board. And what does that mean? It means that we are here and that we have a seat at the table for the first time on many of these important boards. And these are the boards that drive economic development through transportation and infrastructure funding. And everyone knows that the Tappan Zee project, as an example, is the perfect place to get people back to work. We have union families that have been furloughed. We have families that have children that have not been able to get jobs. And we all know that funding for transportation and infrastructure is probably the most solid funding that we can count on. Again, looking towards the future, under the leadership of Megan Taylor and the EDC, we have been recipients of the Consolidated Funding Awards and the Priority Project Awards. Clear Solution Labs will bring 250 job opportunities and their high-skilled labor workforce jobs over the next 3 years, and they'll be making a capital investment of $30 million. They'll also be increasing the ratables on their property tax for the town of Carmel and the county as well. The Putnam Hospital Center will be building 3 additional surgical suites, and that will bring approximately 15 new high-skilled jobs. And they're making a capital investment of $5 million. And we are the recipient of the Opportunity Area Grants, and that's the Brewster Peekskill Partnership and the Workforce Training Grant and Planning and Feasibility Award. And what that means for us, it means job retention, it means job creation and economic development. And as I said earlier, we're keeping 50 people working today. We're creating and putting 300 people back to work. And in economic development, we're seeing $36 million in capital investments, which means that people are believing in this county. And Megan Taylor has identified to me that there are currently 25 projects in the pipeline. So in our administration, as we've identified certain initiatives or events that have occurred, we always try to describe ourselves to the fiscal and the social components of them. Most notably, the treatment court coordinator position is a perfect example of that. While we understand we have a social responsibility, we also understand that we equally have a fiscal responsibility. And the state and federal reimbursements from the mandated programs are decreasing, while the number of participants and costs are increasing. And that will result in increase of property taxes. It could result in decrease of funding for quality of life services such as road patrol, our parks and rec, and again, our outside agencies. And we could realize an increase in program user fees such as permit fees, park fees, and recording fees. So this week, the federal shutdown. I don't know how many have been able to take a look at what's going on there. I've read hours of content of material. I've watched some of the television on it. And basically, I still don't know anything. I don't think they know what's going on. But I can tell you personally, firsthand, what's happening here in Putnam County. On Sunday morning, I was attending the Gold Star Mothers Memorial event at Veterans Park with Carl Rohde. And I went to say hello to our young commander from the Putt Lake Post, who was a returning veteran from Afghanistan with a young family. And I said, hey, how's it going? How's everything? He goes, great till Tuesday, because I'm out of a job if the government shuts down. That's just one example of what the impact of the federal government shutdown will be here in this county. Outside of the fact that we're frightened about the WIC program, because if the government doesn't fund that, you know that ultimately we will do what we always do, and we will support those in need. I think the message that we all need to understand is that the two branches of government do need to communicate. Communication is a responsibility both ways. I know that we can always do better, and I know that we will continue to do so. Certainly, they're the fine example of gridlock and what the ramifications are of it. And we know that all too well that the ultimate responsibility to deliver services to those in need, again, will fall on the county taxpayers because we will never let anyone fall behind in this county. That basically sums up our budget. I'm just going to take a moment here while I have a captive audience to do like a little public service announcement here, all in the good sense of the importance of Putnam County and economic development. Putnam County Economic Development Corporation, in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce, is presenting the Doing Business in Putnam County on Thursday, October 24th. And why is that important? Because it's helping our local business owners understand how government works in the marketplace and local government purchases and the procurement policy and the laws governing. And basically, it's about enhancing Main Street and supporting our local economy, which I think is really critical. We are a neighborhood community. We are Main Street. That drives our economy here. And a final plug for the Putnam County Economic Development Corporation is the first annual gala and river cruise. You can contact Megan Taylor if you're interested. It promises to be an enjoyable evening, and it's really about Putnam County getting out there and letting everyone know who we are, what we're all about, what we have to offer, and just letting them know that we're open for business. So again, I want to thank all of you, the Chamber of Commerce, the outside agencies, Superintendent Tom Manko, good to see you, for all that you do for our community, for our union leadership. Looking forward to closing up our negotiations in the year 2014. The challenges ahead are, at times, can be daunting, but I know that we have a good plan. I know that we have good people on board. I know that we have a drive and a tenacity to make sure that our constituents are served in the most respectful way that we can offer them, not only as elected officials, but certainly as friends and neighbors. So I'd like to thank you all for attending, and after the public hearing, please feel free to stay and make yourself comfortable and enjoy a little bit of the light fare that the Homestyle Caterers has offered to us tonight. Thank you.
We're going to have some comments from the legislators coming up. First, I'd like to just make a couple comments. I see Thomas Manko here from the Hopatch School District, and I wish you would come to Carmel in my school district. Thomas Manko spearheaded the SBO program with the county, and along with Sheriff Smith and with the county executive, after the horrors of Newtown, Connecticut, we have SBO officers, which is a way of putting retired police officers in the schools for extra security. And I think sooner or later the other schools are going to follow suit. But Tom, you're not like a regular superintendent. You're a regular person, and I like that. So. A couple of things that I missed here. Tom Lannon is a department head of IT. Tom's up there. I forgot to mention him. Hannah Krause. Hannah, I'm so sorry. I had like a brain freeze and I went through with everyone. And our district attorney, Adam Levy, is here now. And Carl Rorty is my neighbor, and I called him the historian. He's the veteran. Carl's a decorated Vietnam veteran. Carl, I apologize. I wanted to make the meeting go quickly, so I just wanted to have the department heads and the commissioners, and not the deputies. So I hope I didn't insult anyone with that. And there was one other name I wanted to mention here. Gene Funicelli from the probation department. Gene's here, and that was my intention. So I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings. All right, now we will have comments from the legislators about the budget presentation. And I will start.
If you want.
You want to go?
Sure.
Okay, Barbara, jump
Congratulations, Mary Ellen. I think that was a wonderful presentation. And I really look forward to working with the legislature for the next couple of years and getting a lot of these visions implemented. And I also would like to, again, thank Vinny Tamania for the wonderful job he's doing on the transportation department. 10 times the revenue on Medicaid. I mean, that's amazing to me. And I'd also like to put a shout out to Jack Riley. He's our new consultant for transportation. He's come on board temporarily to help Vinny plan out some new routes and really get us going in the direction that Vinny has visioned. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you, Mary Ellen. The presentation was straightforward. I like that, to the point and focus, and it was very good. It was an excellent presentation. I'm sure there are going to be some areas that we'll have some good discussions over as we peruse the budget, but this initial presentation, I think, bodes well for some fairly quick meetings and getting to the point and providing our constituents with a good tax rate. That 1.66 is outstanding at first glance, and I thank you.
I'd like to thank the County Executive, Mary Ellen Odell, for a wonderful presentation. I'm working in, this is my first budget as a county legislator, so I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues as we peruse through the entire budget in the upcoming weeks. I also know that working together and fostering a collaborative and good working environment is a win-win for our constituents. So I look forward to working with the county executive and with our colleagues to ensure that good government is in place.
Yes, it's my turn. This is my third year as a Putnam County legislator. I'm proud to be here. I see a tremendous team of people working in Putnam County. Mary Ellen, great job on the budget. When you look at this, you see it's very feasible. It's something that we can work with. And it just seems to me that every year we take a step further in the correct direction. The world's a scary place right now. Things are falling apart in so many different directions. But I have a true sense of security being part of Putnam County. It's the place I want to be in. I think, good things are coming up in the future here, and we just keep moving in the right direction as a team. And I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. I enjoyed the presentation very much. So many bright things happened this year. I think, as Rich mentioned, the SPO program for MAPAC schools, and I hope others will catch on. This facility, the golf course, it's taken off. It's making money. It's busy. And I will get to a barbecue. I've missed them, but I will get to those. The pilot program is one of my favorite. High school and college students coming into the county and working in all aspects of the county government. I talked to a lot of those youngsters. They enjoyed it. They'd like to come back again. It's very rewarding, and they are tomorrow's leaders. So that was a good thing for this year. Also, the sale of property is an encouragement that's happened. And I look forward to good things going on in 2013. I've been on the legislature for 21 months now, and I look forward to another 3 years after the election. We'll see. Thank you.
Thanks again. Thanks, Jeff. Hi. I want to thank County Executive Odell for the very clear presentation. I want to invite the audience to come to our committee meetings. Tonight is a little bit of a show and a preview, but I'd like to see the public come out because government is participatory. I'd like to see you come out and partake in our debates, and there will be debates on county spending. Thank you.
Mary Ellen, thank you very much. Great job. And Mary Ellen talked about the fact of communication. This probably the most important part of communication is what goes on between the executive and the legislative branch. And part of what our fiduciary responsibility to do is to put together a budget. Just echoing the sentiments of Legislator LeBeau, it's people who are out there in those agencies, we want to hear from you. We want you to give your input because as we learned from last year, we do question things. We do have conversations as we move forward. And as a legislative branch, we want to put the most prudent budget together and work with the county executive with that. Just a couple of notes, and I mentioned this the other day at the Parkathon. I encourage everybody next year when it's elections for the state and the federal officials, can we start bringing money back to our own country? Mary Ellen talked about studying and listening to what's going on in our government shutdown. I want you to think about the billions and billions of dollars that go to other countries, and yet we can't do for our own here. It's got to stop. So that would help us in some of these unfunded mandates. Let's bring money back to our young, to our kids who leave and can't come back here to live in Putnam County because they can't afford to, and of course our elderly. I look forward to the budget process, and again, Mary Ellen, thanks for a great job. To the gentlemen who are here, this is my district. I actually live down the block from Applied and from Homestyle. I met with them in the beginning of the year, and I will tell you, you guys have done an absolutely incredible job. This was something that needed to be looked at and refurbished and done, and you're on a great road to doing that. So kudos on a wonderful job. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Something else, I didn't mention Roger Gross, Legislative Gross, worked very closely with Thomas Menko with the SBO program. Roger, I apologize for that. And Jimmy McConnell and Nita Gilbert, they're Bill Carlin's right-hand people, and I apologize again. When I went around, they run the finance department, and they let us know what's going on in the county. And Joe, I see you there, and I know you're upset. Anthony, I do agree with you. It was up to me. We'd take the U.S. Army out of Japan and Germany and put them on the Rio Grande, and bring our money back home again. And to close the meeting up, I want to say I see Vinny Kamanya, and when I came on board, we have a very young executive office and we have a very young legislature right now. And when I came on board, Vinny had like 15 or 16 years, and Tony Hay had, whatever, a year or two more. And I would go in and I would go like this. Two cats fighting with each other, and I was like pulling them apart. But we do have a very inexperienced and young board, and we're doing the best we can. But Vinny, I missed the days when you were there, and Tony Hay, as different as you two were, it was kind of a comforting to be able to go to you and ask you questions about how things were done in the past. And with that, I would like to have a motion to adjourn. Dini, you want to?
I just want to confirm, if you can hear me, do we have the budget calendar online so people can go online and look at the schedule? Okay, great. Thank you.
It is online, and well, like Dini said, the games will begin next week.
Friday, 2 days.
And the budget will be online tomorrow morning as well. And I'm trying to think if I forgot anything else, and that's it. So Sam, you'd like to adjourn, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, adjourn.
Second.